Sweet the whispers in your ear whenever Ember wanders near.
Rich Angry Cops, he just dropped a video about an Army lieutenant working at Hooters. So, does she have good ones? You tell me. Hang on. Hang on. Does she have good ones? You tell me. Because I'm thinking that's her. Let's see what's going on here with this, shall we?
It's something that nobody would ever know about you.
I'm an active duty second lieutenant in the U.S. Army, and I'm leaving in a week to get restationed.
She's so cool.
Video of a young active duty lieutenant working behind the bar at Hooters is making its way around the internet, and people are paying attention. Why they're paying attention is up to the person, but let me tell you, for a world filled with ADHD kids, you put one thing in front of a bunch of dudes, we're all gonna stop and stare for a second. Guess what those are? The responses to this young lieutenant working at Hooters has been a little bit of a mixed bag. Some people don't see a reason why you should care. Some people think it's unprofessional. Some people think that if that video got out, it would ruin her entire military career. I even got caught up in it when a video I posted about it was taken down because Hooters removed the video.
Active duty second lieutenant in the U.S. Army, and I'm leaving in a week to get restationed.
Life might be difficult for a little while. And boy, did I get some upset lieutenants in my DMs.
Uh-oh.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. But first, a word from this video's sponsor, PDS Debt. Is the hair on the back of your neck starting to stand
Which size,
up because
though?
the math's not mathing and
I
the
would
bills
guess
are
they're
spread
like
all over the kitchen
50s.
table? Yes, the interest is compounding and the fees are stacking up, but PDS Debt has already helped hundreds of thousands.
Here's the thing, and I'm wondering if Rich is gonna, if Rich is gonna come to the same conclusion. Is it going to get difficult? Yeah. Is it going to hurt her long term? Possibly not. It's number one.
The fact
If
that
she
Hooters
got
didn't have a
permission,
delivery service branch and call it Knockers was a missed opportunity.
if she got permission to work a second job off duty, I would have to imagine. Now, I'm guessing Rich is going to go. Rich is obviously going to go through this. She would have, had to get permission from her CO to do this off duty job. And simply she is, she's a bartender or a waitress, which, I mean, the only scandalous thing is she's showing off her boobs. That's that. I don't even think the shorts that the Hooters girls wear anymore are like the booty shorts of old. The shorts are short shorts, but they're not insanely short. She's not a stripper. She's not a hooker. I think the most that Hooters has these days is they just have a low cut top and that's it. It shows off the cleavage. So honestly, she's working bar. Yeah, but working bar, I'm not sure if that's going to discipline that. I'm not sure that would result in significant discipline. Now, it depends on her CO. That is a very key note of distinction there is it, does her CO know about this and does her CO care? I'm guessing we'll find out.
Reduce what they owe and take back control. Whether you're struggling with credit card debt, personal loans, or medical bills,
And you're right. It would be
PDS
worse
has
if she
custom
was
options to
enlisted.
help get you out.
And I think
they go
the reason why if she was enlisted, no one would care. It's the fact that she is an officer is a key point here, and that's because people, the general public, as well as the military itself, hold officers to a higher level of standards versus enlisted. So if this was an enlisted person, yeah, people probably wouldn't give a shit. There'd be some jokes and that'd be it. But because she is an officer, there is there is a higher standard there because she is in a position of authority and command. And the idea is that, okay, if she's like presenting herself this way in a sexualized manner, so to speak, that it will be cause difficulties in her basically, in her troops respecting her authority because they see her in a different light, which that is a whole different thing about military discipline where it shouldn't matter if if she's an officer, you should respect the rank and blah blah blah. It's a whole different thing.
Beyond the numbers to create a unique financial solution to your problem. A personalized plan just for you. There's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more and pay off your debt faster. And start putting money back where it belongs, in your pocket. With an A+ from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of 5-star reviews on Google, along with a 5-star rating on Trustpilot, why not trust PDS Debt? Don't let your case stay open for another month. Break free in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment and the best option for you at pdsdebt.com/angry. That's pdsdebt.com/angry. pdsdebt.com/angry. You're back. I know why you're back. Feel free to go tit for tat in the comments. Yeah! Puns! Let's start off with why people are upset about this. You're an officer of the United States military. You shouldn't be wearing revealing clothing and serving alcohol at a spot known for said natural endowments, we'll say, of the female form. Let's be honest, you're not going to Hooters for the wings, right? You're going there for the ambiance, which is low-cut shirts and the jugs of beer. So sure, some people are going to say that it's unscrupulous. I hope I used that word right. It's
scrupulous. Not honest or fair, doing things that are wrong, dishonest, or illegal.
I hope I used that word right.
No, he did not. Poor Rich. No, Rich, you did. A better term would have been unseemly, not unscrupulous.
If an Army officer is actively working there where the main draw is boobs.
Boy, she's got great boobies.
And oddly enough, she's not the first lieutenant in the United States Army that works at Hooters. I've made a couple shorts, and I believe there's been some clips from other videos of a separate Army lieutenant that also worked at Hooters. And decide with this first point of view of, this could be conduct unbecoming of an officer. Let's talk about this like adults, okay? Let's stop beating around the bush, shall we? Or beating around the boobies, as it were.
Between those huge sweating tits.
You're working at an establishment where girls are shoving their boobs in your face hoping that you give them a little bit of an extra tip, right? The overall idea of Hooters is pretty shallow. It's just a cleaner version of a strip club, kind of.
Looking for strippers and cocaine.
Nobody's on the pole there, but you've got enough entertainment for you and the guys to giggle at and oogle and ogle and give a couple dollars to and flirt.
I actually disagree with Rich on the concept that Hooters is just like one step away from a strip club. Like they're strippers just without dancing around the pole. I'm going to actually disagree with that. There are plenty of restaurants, not Hooters, where the uniform of the waitresses is revealing. Like there are many restaurants across the entire country that will have their, like, for God's sake, look at Heart Attack Grill. Look at Heart Attack Grill. Heart Attack Grill, the waitresses are dressed very scantily, like similarly to Hooters. Do you think of Heart Attack Grill as it was, not is because they're closing? But like when we saw the beard video at the Heart Attack Grill, did we think like they were in like skimpy nurses outfits? Do we think, oh, that's one step away from a strip club? Or did we think, oh, okay, they're the whole concept is it's a Heart Attack Grill, they're wearing skimpy nurses costumes, it's part of the skit, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, I know Heart Attack Grill shut down. I'm aware of that. That's why I just said it. But it's like, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, I disagree with his characterization of Hooters being one step removed from a strip club when there are multitudes of restaurants, not Hooters, throughout the country that wear skimpy outfits of varying degrees and styles and they are not viewed as, oh, this is one step away from a strip club. And so I don't agree with that, Kara. I don't agree with that. I don't. Are they acknowledging with the name, and are they kind of like using it to their advantage with the waitresses and to draw in clientele? Yes, absolutely. They are. They're using big titty. They used to anyway. They're using big titty women to bring in male clients to spend money on their food. Sure, but like just removed from a strip club. No, sorry, I don't agree with that. I don't. And Kodiak, thank you for the double raid. Welcome in, Raiders. I hope you had a wonderful stream. We're finishing things off tonight with an Angry Cops video about a lieutenant that was a waitress or a bartender at Hooters, and people are in an uproar about it. So let's continue with it.
Even though you know the waitress does not actually think that you're cute, guys. She does not.
I don't know what you think you know, but you're wrong.
And if getting a couple extra dollars out of a tip is worth you over-sexualizing yourself for that little bit of change, yes, that doesn't really bode well for the values of an Army officer. But that's not where the story ends. Yeah, we talked about how it obviously could look bad if you're a lieutenant in the Army and you're working at Hooters. What about the people that don't see it as that big of a deal or a deal at all? What about that point of view?
It's not that big of a deal.
Because let's be honest, what bar doesn't have a bartender that is obviously putting on some provocative clothing to show the girls or flaunt the assets a little bit?
Only has to shake her ass for tip.
To keep the patrons at the bar happy, a little entertained, to make them feel good, and also to get a little extra tip. Let's be honest. Sure, there's Hooters and
you know what? You bring up, Hostler, you bring up an excellent point. Hooters, by and large these days, is kind of considered a family restaurant. Like, I've seen so many, I've seen, like, lately, I've seen a couple of clips that are like, you know, like, kids doing cute things. Little kids, like 2 or 3-year-old boys that are, like, flirting with waitresses. Like, it's cute, it's adorable, that these little boys are just, like, they turn on their charm and the waitresses are just enchanted. Or like these small children are like, they see the waitresses, like, you know, bending over talking to another customer, and these kids are just like staring hard at these girls' asses. One of them actually grabs a girl's ass. It's just, but I mean, they're cute. They're like, they're small children. It's cute. It's funny. But this is in a Hooters. It's like, by and large, these restaurants aren't what they used to be. The reputation of Hooters is not what it used to be. It used to be a place that, like, they only hired slim, big titty women as their waitresses, specifically to draw in men. They absolutely, like, that is what it used to be. It has not been that for a good several years now. And honestly, it's like for quite a while, it's been a family restaurant. Yes, the girls are wearing short shorts and they're wearing low-cut tops, but it's not anywhere as bad as it used to be, and it has kind of become a family place now, in all reality. If the big complaint is, oh, she's wearing a low-cut top and showing off her tits, would they say that if she was just wearing something off-duty, not working at Hooters and just wearing a low-cut top off-duty? Because honestly, when it comes to, like, how problematic it is, it's the same thing. Like, her wearing a low-cut top while working at Hooters versus her wearing a low-cut top in her personal life when she's off-duty, nobody would care. If she was off-duty and she strolled into the PX on a hot summer day wearing short shorts and a low-cut top, no one would say a damn thing. No one would say anything about, oh, this is unbecoming of an officer. You're a lieutenant in the military army. Yes, that's a MASH quote right there. No one would say anything. But because she's at a Hooters, all of a sudden, oh my God, this is unbecoming of an officer. So, like, there is a double standard at play here that, I'm sorry, it's just, I'm on the side of, who cares? She's not stripping, she's not hooking, she's a bartender wearing a low-cut top. The real issue, she bragged about her rank 2 instead of keeping it to herself. Again, if she was not in the bar and and she was just out on the, out in public wearing similar types of clothing and said she's a lieutenant in the army, no one would care. It's basically, I get the feeling that the people making a big deal about this are the pearl clutching Karens who are basically doing, the pearl clutching Karens who aren't as attractive as her and basically going, well, we have to take her down a few pegs because she's pretty and she has bigger tits than me. So I don't like that. So we're going to have to make it a problem. That's the feeling that I'm getting right now.
Twin Peaks, and I don't know the rest of the ones that flaunt the sexuality of their waitresses and staff to, make it a unique experience. But what about just, I don't know, every other bar that you've got in your hometown?
Yes.
For the sake of me getting smacked across the head by my wife, let's look at what she's wearing. Pretty average low-cut shirt.
Yes.
Are we really, that's
Yes.
That's actually pretty tame for the things that I've seen people
Correct.
at normal bars wear. And the rest of the
Yep.
Hooters outfit is just leggings with orange shorts over them. And who hasn't seen a woman in leggings walking around? My God, the best thing the Lord gave us was leggings.
Well, then, Rich, then I have to correct you. Those aren't leggings. Those are pantyhose, not leggings. Rich, I realize you are not an expert on women's lingerie. I'm going to educate you. Those aren't leggings. They're pantyhose. There is a difference.
My God, the best thing the Lord gave us was leggings. So if you're going to say that she's dressed inappropriately or overly provocative compared to every other bar, I would have to...
No, by the way, I should point out, they are pantyhose, but no. They are pantyhose, but they are heavy denier pantyhose. They do make heavier denier or heavier grade pantyhose than like the standard like thin wispy pantyhose. They do come in different heavinesses. And so the pantyhose that the girls it might actually be closer to tights versus pantyhose. There's a possibility that maybe they're wearing nude tights instead of pantyhose, but that's still it's not leggings. Definitely not leggings.
To say that she's dressed inappropriately or overly provocative compared to every other bar, I would have to disagree. That's a normal outfit if you're going out. Yeah. She just happens to be at a different establishment. If
Exactly.
you took a cardboard cutout of this woman and put her in any other scenario other than the background of a Hooters, you'd be like, what's the issue?
Exactly.
And to touch on that, have we seen the bathing suit Instagram posts
Oh.
from Army officers and
Wow.
NCOs? Male and female. I get it, you're bodybuilding, but aren't you showing off a lot of skin on the internet to try and gain attention? And what are you selling? Your physical self.
Saw that girl naked for the first time.
And you can't tell me that guys are over-sexualizing some of their poses or women are really pushing out that thing to make you want to buy whatever booty boot camp she's selling. So if we're gonna go after this young second lieutenant working at Hooters because she's got a low-cut shirt on, it would be pretty hypocritical for us not to go after the fitness industry, aka fitness mill influencer, right?
Okay, officer is an officer. Point still stands. She's not she's wearing a low-cut top. Are you going to say that every officer, are you prepared to say that every female officer in the United States military is not allowed to wear a low-cut top that shows any cleavage whatsoever or even a bathing suit? Are you prepared to say that right now? Like saying, oh, an officer is an officer. She should be held to a higher standard. Okay, she's also a person. And so if you want to take that tack, then you are saying that every single woman in the United States military shall never wear anything that shows any cleavage, to include a bathing suit when she wants to go to the pool or go to the beach. Every officer, period, needs to maintain decorum when it comes to the job. How was she not maintaining decorum? Like her having cleavage considered not maintaining decorum? No. That's not a lack of maintaining decorum. She wasn't doing anything like where she's shoving it in someone's face or bouncing her tits around specifically to like entice the person on the camera. She was literally just leaning over. She was wearing a low-cut top and talking to someone. How was she not maintaining decorum? She wasn't being overly sexual. She wasn't being overly suggestive. So where did she fail to maintain decorum? If your only answer to that is, oh, I could see her tits, sorry, that doesn't work. Because then you would have to apply that same logic to every woman in the military and basically ban every woman in the military from wearing at any point in time while they are enlisted in the military a low-cut top that can show cleavage, to include but is not limited to a bathing suit or a bikini if they want to go to the pool or the beach. Sorry, I don't buy it. It doesn't work. And if you want to try and say that, that is sexist to say that. Especially since the men can basically go shirtless anytime they want, especially if they're like in the gym or something. And we've seen the photos of the bodybuilders and whatnot. So no, it doesn't work. The logic doesn't work. Saying, oh, she did not maintain decorum. She maintained decorum perfectly fine. She did. That argument falls completely flat for the exact reasons that I was just outlining.
Now, while we have the two sides of good or bad or I hate this or indifferent, let's talk about some potential Army responses to this incident.
One more time for the cheap seats.
There's going to be a couple what ifs here, but I'm going to specifically state a couple of things that some young officers slid into my DMs about. Oddly enough, officers that say that they knew her personally, yet I haven't received any sort of complaint or had the female officer in the Hooters video reach out to me, so stop white knighting. The overall response that I've seen from people that this video, if not taken down immediately, will negatively affect her career. How? Obviously, you have troops not respecting her because she was a bartender at a Hooters joint, okay?
Sure.
You could have this lieutenant blacklisted and staying at that rank forever and never getting promoted because, hey, this is kind of conduct unbecoming an officer. And even so far as getting her removed from BOLC, which I believe is where she's headed, the Basic Officers Leaders course. Basic Officer Leader course?
And by the way, the point that is making about the conduct unbecoming has nothing to do with her attire. Had only to use with her being a bartender. That's it. And that is a legitimate question to be asked. And again, it was it brings up my earlier question of, did she clear this with her CO, and was her CO aware of her second job as a bartender?
Whatever. BOLC, B-O-L-C. Now, I'm not totally familiar with all the ways of officer or this female's career, but let me address some of those things. Not being able to be promoted or being removed from the Basic Officers Leaders course. Holy sh**. You have whatever full bird colonel or general thinks that it's a good idea to have some 20-year-old brand new female officer have her entire career ruined, stopped, and turned around, kicked out of being an officer because she wore a low-cut top and was a bartender for a little while. Holy, if you want a EO complaint, equal opportunity, which means if you're not a white guy, you get special privilege. I mean, that is the biggest EO complaint I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm a female at a bar and I wore a normal outfit that might be considered revealing, but nothing off color where any portion of my body was shown that would lead those images or me being in that position to denigrate the good order and discipline of the United States Army. Good luck. By the way, if that female ever does get any sort of shit and like the Army's like, we're not going to promote you because of this, or we're going to kick you out of BOLC because of this, you get a hold of me. I will straight up raise this to the fucking Pentagon and raise all sorts of hell.
And he has and the funniest part is Rich has the connections to do exactly that. Rich knows people in the Pentagon. He has friends that know people in the Pentagon. They could make a phone call. Absolutely, yes. And for people that are saying like, well, she's Army, being Army is 24/7. No, you have off-duty times. Does your job in the military come first? Yes. So that means that that any duties you have in the military supersede any second job that you would have off post. Absolutely. Without question. That's why if she was working that job at Hooters as a bartender and she got a phone call from her CO saying, you need to report back to base immediately, we got shit going on, and she'd go, yes, sir, right away, hang up the phone, tell her boss at Hooters, gotta go, and fucks off back to the base. Absolutely, yes. But when you're off duty, you're off duty. You still need to conduct yourself, you still need to remember that you are in the military and you can't embarrass, you can't do something to embarrass the military, like such as being a stripper or, driving drunk when you're off duty or going to protests in uniform. That's against UCMJ, so on and so forth. Like that is still present, but getting a second job, as long as it's approved by your CO, and wearing a low-cut top, wearing like a modestly low-cut top as a part of the uniform, no. Yeah, I mean, look at Tomoe. Look at Tomoe. Tomoe is an active service member of the military. And she is a VTuber with a busty horse girl. So, for all of you, for anybody having a problem with this woman, with this lieutenant being a bartender wearing a kind of low-cut top, do you have a problem with Tomoe? Now, I know there are plenty of people out there that don't like Tomoe because, well, they hate the military to begin with, or they hate VTubers to begin with. Do you have a problem with Tomoe? Do you think Tomoe is doing conduct unbecoming? Difference is Tomoe is anonymous. This lady is not. Okay. But she's still presenting herself as a busty anime horse girl. I know she's getting on the service. I know. The principle still stands. Tomoe's outfit, and she's like, okay, now we're nitpicking. Now you're nitpicking. It's sounding very much like you want this woman to get in trouble. It sounds like you have a problem with this woman simply being a woman. The way you're doing this, you're coming up with right now. You're coming up with every excuse right now to have her get in trouble just because she is a woman working a bartender job wearing a somewhat low-cut top. That's the way it feels. She's an officer. She should be presenting decorum at all times. She shouldn't be, even when she's off duty, she should be in like, I don't know, fucking nun's habit or something. Like, I've seen officers like her bust soldiers' ass for this same situation. Okay. You've seen officers like her. She's not like that. Like, if you had an officer that was busting a soldier's ass for this kind of thing, I'd have a problem with that officer too. Okay, if she's an officer that busts out or enlisted for similar things, I'd have a problem with that too. We've got no evidence to support this. You're basically equating her to other officers that are assholes when we don't know that she is like that. We are basing this solely upon she is a bartender at Hooters wearing a modestly low-cut top, and that's it. That is all we have to work with. You're conflating because you are aware of all other officers, not this woman, but other officers who are assholes and treat other people like assholes and have basically drilled down on people because they're assholes for this kind of thing. That's a completely different situation. That's not this situation in and of itself. And that's, I think, coloring things up for you on this.
Because you've got a low-cut shirt on and all of a sudden the Army doesn't want to promote you? Or they say conduct and becoming an officer and boom, you're just going to basic training and being enlisted or just chaptered out? Dumbest thing ever. Which brings me to the individuals that messaged me about taking down my video and being concerned about the overall welfare and the future of this female officer's career. If you are afraid that a social media post of a soldier wearing a low-cut top is going to negatively affect their career so much that you're going to freak out and say, this could ruin her career,
And by the way, I will point out, there are multiple female officers that have made social media posts highly sexualizing themselves for the last umpteen years. For probably the last 10 to 15 years at minimum. There have been numerous female enlisted and officers making social media posts where they hypersexualize themselves in a myriad of ways. never heard anything about that, did we? And this woman didn't even hypersexualize herself. She literally just existed wearing a modestly low-cut top that showed cleavage. She did this woman thus far has done nothing wrong other than simply exist as a woman with big tits. That's it. That's literally her only crime right now. She has big tits and she was wearing a shirt that happened to show them off and not in a grotesque way.
An idiot, and you're going to be a horrible officer. Because guess what? That is a nothing burger of an incident.
Yes.
Literally a nothing burger. It's a funny moment in the world internet history of the Army now.
Yeah.
Where you go, hey, cool, the lieutenant used to work at Hooters as a bartender. Next. But no, I've got young officers overreacting in my DMs, saying that it's the end of the world for this female officer. Speaking for her, not having her contact me, and all I can think of is, oh, so whenever one of your lower enlisted NCOs or a brand new second lieutenant that's gonna fall under your leadership eventually post something on the internet that's you find a little unnerving, I see you losing your and blowing it way out of proportion, just like you're doing this now.
There it
which
is.
is sad. You grew up with the internet.
I'm trying to save your life and you're worried about your little dick?
This, of all things, is a nothing burger. Now, the one thing that I did say, just the general term of this could negatively affect her military career. Meh. Yeah. You know what? Adult conversation between two adults in the military right now, right? Yeah, you're probably gonna have somebody bring it up because you're the new lieutenant, and your sergeant first class in charge of first platoon is gonna go, ma'am, Hooters, hysterical. Now here's the deal, you could do one of two things, because your troops know. They already know. It's already been out there. You took it down too little, too late. It was out there. It's out there. You can either be a bitch about it, and I mean like an asshole, and also, you know, I'm a little bitch about it, and whine and complain and say everybody brings it up all the time. Yeah, it's gotta happen. Or you could deal with it head on. Hey, I'm Lieutenant so-and-so. There's a video of me when I used to work at Hooters as a bartender. No, it was Hooters, not a strip club. Nobody's giving $5 handies or lap dances or slipping up and down a pole with their titties out at Hooters. I served everybody drinks like everybody else, so if you want to start some I'll end it. And by the way, if you are the enlisted men, under the supervision of that lieutenant, if you're not getting in a fist fight, if some dickhead comes over and is like, yeah, you got a dumb lieutenant with your knockers out and Hooters and blah, blah. If you're not just smacking the out of him, you're a fucking shitty troop. Because let me tell you something. Nobody's gonna pick on my officer. No, not my boss. That's my boss. I'll make funny jokes about Hooters with my boss when we're off drinking off post, having a good time on family day, or bullshitting in the office when it's an okay time to do it. If she says, hey, that's cool, we'll BS about it. The people outside of my unit certainly aren't gonna bring that up and denigrate my boss. They're gonna get a smack to the face. And then they can tell their senior NCO why they're missing a tooth. So our first class high bitch smacked the out of me. Why did he do that? Oh, because, you know, I kept bringing up how his lieutenant used to work at Hooters and then was making inferences about that and how because she's a female with boobies, she's bad. Oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble, aren't I? Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
And that is camaraderie. That is it right there, what Rich laid out right there. Is that, yeah, you're gonna make jokes and you're gonna bust the balls of the people in your own unit. That's what comrades in arms do. But when someone outside of the unit fucks around, that's when basically close ranks and you go, these are my people. You don't fuck with my people. Like, he's banged the fuck on with this. And this is the ever-loving point. It's not going to denigrate her in the eyes of the soldiers under her command. The soldiers under her command, yeah, they might do the army thing and bust her balls about a little bit. Sure. They do that to one another all the time for the dumbest shit imaginable. But when the chips are down, if she's a good officer, we're going on the assumption that she is a good officer, that she knows her shit and she treats her people fairly. Okay? We're going on this assumption because we know nothing else about this officer. So we will assume that she's a good officer, knows her stuff, and treats her people fairly. Firm but fair. And then when the chips are down, they will back her play every single time. They'll screw with her in downtime. They'll mess around with her in downtime, just good-natured teasing. But when shit gets real, they will back her every time. That's what counts. Do I think it's going to cause her issues of like people in her unit like refusing her commands? Maybe, and those people are going to be out of the unit really fucking fast. Or they'll get their heads put on straight by the other people in the unit that actually know what camaraderie actually means. Bottom line, this is nothing, like what Rich said. It's absolutely nothing, and the other lieutenants that were basically like messaging Rich or whatever, bitching and moaning, I'm guessing they're a bunch of pussies. The only people that would be messaging Rich, complaining and whining about this female lieutenant are basically officers that are a bunch of fucking pussies, and they're desperate for Rich to make fun of her so they can feel better about themselves because they suck at their jobs. That's legitimately the only reason why I could see they messaged Rich in the first place, because they're whiny little bitches, and they want to be able. They wanted Rich to make a video of him busting her out, so then they could show that to their troops and go, "Ha! Look at this! Look at how much better I am than this broad." And Rich just basically just smacked them in the face and said, "Shut the fuck up, you whiny little bitch." And I love it.
In closing, I will actually repost the video that I made that was taken down right here after this, at the end of this. So you can see my humorous take on this entire thing, which I think is the appropriate response. And I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. The best way to support the channel is buy yourself a shirt. Party Police is out 4th of July this weekend. It's a party. Baby, it's gonna be a party. But
oh my goodness.
Tell me how you feel in the comments.
Nanato, hi, welcome in, Raiders. Wow, what timing. Welcome in, we're just finishing up a video. Hope you had a wonderful stream.
Do you think that this is a big deal and that, hey, it's a Hooters establishment, there's no way ever, it's completely irredeemable, she could never be an officer? Do you think that this is no big deal? Do you think that the fact that anybody would make this a big deal is retarded? Are you somewhere in the middle? And if so, where are you? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get us a little ribbon here, you know, but yeah, we're not going to, the Army's not going to do anything. This is, you know, what are you doing? Yeah. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear it. Good luck, Lieutenant. From a guy that's been on the internet for a while and still serving, it's not that bad. You'll be okay.
And again, the one key thing is, did she, like, the only question mark is, did she get it cleared with her CO? If she got it cleared with her CO and her CO knows where she's working, none of the rest matters. Absolutely nothing else matters.
All right. See you next time, weirdos.
Is good. Yeah, that was basically a whole lot of blah by other people for nothing. It was absolutely nothing. I'm glad Rich said, like, put it the way he did when he was saying, like, yeah, she's gonna get made fun of a little bit, but that's just what soldiers do to one another. But then they'll back her up the minute someone from the outside decides to come in and fuck with her. Like, but that's exactly the correct response if in that situation. Because, yeah, she didn't do anything wrong. They're literally, it's people are literally upset that she is a woman, looks like a woman, and is in the military.
As they aren't doing anything provocative while wearing the uniform, it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I mean, it's, again, you don't want your officers being strippers or hookers or anything like that. Like, there is a line, but being a bartender at Hooters and wearing a kind of a low cut and wearing a low cut top, this ain't it that. She's like, it's absolutely nothing. And it's honestly a bunch of, either a bunch of like whining Karens or a bunch of whining male Karen officers that just like know that they're pieces of shit and they're trying to take down another officer to make themselves feel better. Something like that. I don't, who knows? It's nothing. She's fine. She did nothing wrong. And for all we know, she's a perfectly good officer and knows what she's doing.